Well, this is take 5 of this video. Amy and I...
You should just abort it.
No, I gotta bring everybody. I gotta talk about Winter Soldier. He raced good last night. We'll start with Winter Soldier, because we had a few other things to talk about. I thought the horse raced well. I kind of wish Ronnie had stayed in the 2-hole, but it was pretty obvious that Aaron wanted him out and around him. Just got pecked at the wire, but man, he's doing exactly what we need him to. In fact, a bit more, because I didn't know he could get around a half, and certainly seems like he likes that one. So, Winter Soldier raced well last night. Just picked him 55 and did all the work. You know, we were talking in one of the other episodes of this video that we're not going to air about Corbin. I had mentioned Corbin for Winter Soldier, and then I'd also mentioned, geez, if he's getting around Northfield, we might have just to stay there. And somebody said, geez, Anthony, they race for so much more money in Corbin. Does it not make more sense to send him there? And I think it's important, and I think this goes without saying. I think most people know this anyway. In fact, the person that sent the message obviously knows it. When it's just one of those things where you don't think about it until it's right in front of you. You know, when you're racing for more money, better horses are going to be there, right? The open trot and pace at Corbin, Cumberland Run, is going to be a little bit tougher than the one at Northfield, I would suspect. Usually where there's more money, there's better horses. And that's not always the case, but a lot of the times it is the case. And it just, to me, if we're racing for a real good chunk of money, which is 21 US, right at Northfield Park, and we're able to do in that class all the time, then it makes a lot of sense maybe just to look for another horse that might be able to do in Corbin. And they'll be around. They'll be around this time of year in between sales season. I know this sounds a lot like when I said, oh, first of the year, people will start selling their horses, and they didn't this year. It was surprising. This year was an eye-opening calendar year for me in a number of fronts, right? Obviously, the stock in Ohio changed, and Amy and I were just talking about that. You know, how I had said all year, historically speaking, because I was talking about in past years, our horses would have done much, much better in Ohio, but this isn't past years. This is 2025. We raced our horses, and they did okay, but not as good as we thought they were. And of course, a lot of that is my fault for hyping the horses for what I thought they were. And it isn't necessarily that Uncle Danny or Supermind or any of those horses let me down. It's just that their competition was a bit stiffer than even I thought it would be. So, you know, when it comes to this year in particular, it is a little bit different.
I think we need to realize that a 55 Trotter is about
but it's even like Pennsylvania. You might have a year where, you know, Arrowhead Hanover or Austral Hanover will do extremely well at 2 and 3, but you're going to run into one of those years where you're going to have a couple of killers in the Sire Stake top end. They're going to shove all the pretty good horses down into the Stallion Series, and all of a sudden that really good Arrowhead Hanover, he's just a horse. And there's no way to know that. There's no way to predict that. So as we're on our way out to the sale, these are some of the racing storylines we're looking at. I had to check in with both barns, and you know, everybody's working to get the shed rows cleaned up. I'd taken some pictures the other day. Very proud of the work that our staff has done in Ohio in particular to clean up the barn, paint all the walls, paint the doors, get the mats in. It's just a great job top to bottom. And a big thank you to John and Nishan, who are coming on board. You guys know that. They facilitated us getting all those mats, which is a big deal. It's expensive. It's a bugger to buy them. But I'll tell you what a difference it looks in the barn. You haven't been in the barn since they put the mats down, have you? It's totally different. So these are the things that Amy and I have to get up. We're going over the sale. We're trying to go over what we're doing at the sale before we get to the sale, so we don't get tied up just doing this all day. What else do we have to do? And the biggest thing we had to do, obviously, is check in with the barns. So what are we doing this week? What does this week look like for Amy and I and the rest of the people at the stable? Well, this week will consist of some stake racing on Saturday. And now, I believe, and I think Amy will agree with me on this, that by Friday, just relax. Tell Steve we're here, but I'm just finishing my video up. By Friday, Jailbird Jog is on Saturday. Degas is on Friday. I was going to train Degas tomorrow in preparation of Friday, and then Eric told me, I trained her this morning. That's my fault, but it's not a big deal. She's fine. I don't know what Friday is going to look like, right? We have racing at the Meadows. We have racing at Northfield Park. We have racing at the Red Mile. We have a sale on Friday night, and I don't know which one or any combination of those I'll be engaged with. I would say right here and now, there's Steve, there's Todd. Right here and now, in a perfect world, I'll likely potentially go to the Red Mile, potentially go to the Red Mile, potentially go to the sale on Friday night. Hi, everybody's. We did have a lot of traffic, and we did the video 5 times. You know what Amy's like. She just won't shut up. She just wanders all over the place.
Where's my coffee?
What did you want? Well, I don't know what you're. Yeah, I do remember ice cappuccino or something. Well, I'm not going to worry about it because it didn't happen. So, oh no, just pop the trunk, Steve, and pull them straight out. So, Friday is a question mark for me. I am of the belief, and I think Amy is too, that we'll have what we want for 2026 out of Lexington 2025 by Friday, and I won't need. What's wrong? It's not good? Not good? And I won't need to be here on Friday, which does that open up the door for Friday afternoon in the Meadows, Friday nights Northfield. That depends who gets in, what they draw. If we got some horses that make a lot of sense, if we have some horses that make a lot of sense on those 2 days, then there's not a necessity for me to be down here. But again, if we don't get all the horses we need, we have looked at Friday. We have looked through the catalog, and there's a number of horses that make all the sense in the world for the stable. So these are some of the, I talk about the storylines, but how things are going to play out in Kentucky and in what direction they're going to play out. It was so great. These guys and Amy and I and Rob and a number of other horses, we talked about all this stuff last night at dinner, and not only do you have the first crop sires, not only do you have that question mark of dominance from Walner at the sales ring tonight, but what are the trainers going to do? And I didn't think about this, but there's a lot of trainers that maybe didn't have the year they wanted. Does that mean they scale back a little bit, or does that mean they double down with their clients? I have no idea. I don't know. Those stable. I'll be right back, loser. I don't know if they scale back or not. So again, everybody else's stable is built different, right? And you guys know this. I'll give you just a brief description. So since the beginning of time, horsemen are great people, and they all believe that you can go here, buy horses, turn a profit, and everybody has popcorn all summer. We all know the reality of that situation is the vast majority of the horses here won't turn profits, right? We're all here looking for a horse we can all get our picture taken with our friends and our family, our horse that we can just be proud of, our horse we can follow and be excited about. And every year or so, we always have those horses. So does everybody else. That's what makes this sport great. You guys, you heard me rave about the Blue Jays yesterday. I was so excited. Sorry about Yankees. But I love watching baseball, but this team in October going into the World Series, it's an electrifying feeling, and that's for millions of people. When it comes to our sport, our clientele, we have a community of 900, and we're always cheering for our horses to do really, really well, and that's what we're after. But that's not necessarily what everybody's after. So if you have a group of X amount of owners, and those owners are geared on buying the best horses and only racing in the biggest races and only winning the biggest races, and then you have a year where it didn't happen, how does that affect them? Do they double down, or in some cases triple down, or do they take a step back and a deep breath? And I have no idea. I don't know how that's going to play out. Are the bigger trainers going to be firing here on day 1, day 2? Are they going to fill their barns up and head back to wherever they're from? I don't know. If they don't, where does that leave us? Because although we didn't win everything in Ohio, we didn't have a horrible year. We didn't win everything in Pennsylvania, Ontario, or anywhere else. We didn't have a bad year anywhere. We have 2 fillies that rightfully so will head to the Breeders' Crown. 2 of them both amongst the top of their class nationally. Had a good year with those 2 fillies. Now, I wish the number 2 was actually 12, but that's not the way this industry works. So I'm confident in saying what we can do, how we've done it, how we're going to continue to do it moving forward, but I don't know about everybody else. And what kind of a role will that play? Where does that storyline fit in? I have no idea. I don't know. So you have first crop sires, you have the tension at the sale with clients of other people. It's such a unique thing until you're here. Until you walk around and look at the horses, and then you come to the sale at night, and then even sometimes it happens so quick that it's almost a post-mortem of night one. Until you absorb all that and see what happened, it's hard to explain what takes place in Lexington. It's a very interesting place. So aside from all of that stuff, and as Amy said, my heavy ADHD and trying to put it all in place, it's an exciting time of year, my favorite time of year, but you know what? We still have business to do. So, Winter Soldier raced great last night. Third just beat at the wire. We have horses we're entering in the Buckeye finals and consolations here today and tomorrow for Saturday at Northfield Park. We have horses we're looking to acquire, horses we're looking to sell. Always moving, right? We always have to be moving. And when it comes to 2026, the start of the bulk of our foundation for that year is going to be right here in Kentucky starting tonight. So what horses are we looking at? We're not going to stray too far from what we've always done, what has always worked for us. First crop sires, horses that fall through those cracks. You know, I had a person message me, it might have been a few weeks ago, and he said, Anthony, I know you talk about the storylines, you talked about the cracks in the sale, but is there cracks in the sales? He said, honestly, I don't know if I'm saying that as a question or a statement. I said, it seems like a question. I can't tell you how you meant it. He said, I just don't know if the cracks are as obvious as you say they are. I said, well, they're not obvious. But when you look through the sale results and you look through the race results the next year, there's some obvious horses that fell through the cracks. There's some obvious horses that people overpaid for. There's obvious horses that people grossly underpaid for. And I want to be on the latter side of that. And that's easier said than done, obviously. But if you continue to approach the sales with a value-based lens, even when you lose, you don't really lose that much, right? Uncle Danny didn't have a great year. He made $47,000, but we paid $25,000 for him, right? We talk about Rico Tubbs jokingly. He's an $11,000 yearling. That pedigree with Father Patrick and that horse in that video should not have brought $11,000. Should have probably brought 26, 27. In which case we wouldn't have had him. Those are the cracks in the sale, right? Wasn't that long ago we bought Tactical Mountains. First crop, Tactical Landing. Day 2, 3. I don't think it was day 1. $27,000. There's always gaps. There's always cracks. And that's what we're trying to work in. And you know, Amy and I were joking about it. He said, you know, we have that high-end pacer. That's nowhere near the sale topper. That high-end pacer or trotter that I'm talking about, that I'm touting, that I'd be so proud to pick up and walk away and go to take back to Northfield. That horse might be the 60th most expensive horse sold here. But not to us. Not to us. So what we need to do is walk the line, stay the course, stick to the plan, purchase the horses that are stable horses, and bring them back to Northfield to train them back. So that is the plan for today. I am excited about the sale tonight. I'm excited about our show tonight. It should be a lot of fun. A few little changes. You know, I'd said this from the outset. I've lobbied, not really lobbied because it doesn't affect me, but I've told Lexington, the sale itself, for 3 years since we did our show, you should be doing this. For all the breeders out there, for all the consignments out there, you should have your own consignment show. Why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you take the opportunity to showcase your talent? But nobody did. Nobody does. But they're going to have a show tonight. The Lexington Select Sale will. But it'll be ongoing in the sale, during the sale, which is good. because our show is going to lead up to the sale. And then if we do buy horses during the sale, now we have the infrastructure in place to use it if we want. Curtis and his crew will be here. So I'm excited about that also. So they're showing horses. We're heading out. We're going to do some more videos for you. We're going to start with Preferred Hunterton for today. A couple other consignments that I'm really interested in looking at. Really interesting looking at some of their horses. Listen, there's 960 some horses selling here over the next 5 days. We are going to find our stable horses for 2026. We're going to do it right here, and you're going to get to see it all unfold in real time. So with that, I'm going to let you go. I'm going to talk to you all very soon. If you have any questions, any comments, any messages, send them along. I'll have my phone with me all day long, and I'd be happy to answer any and all of your questions. Take care. Have a wonderful Monday. Start to the week. Start to the Lexington sale 2025. Take care, everybody.